Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 235B of Tales with Tierra. Let's get right into it. My guest today hails from the great Canadian province of Ontario and played 7 years of pro hockey after graduating from the OHL, racking up over 2,000 penalty minutes in the process. These days, he still calls Ontario home, but has moved on to other things after hockey, such as acting, where he plays Palmer in the hit TV show Shoresy, which is available now on Crave in Canada and Hulu in the USA. He has a big shot, a bigger punch, and a decent toe drag. But I think he's found a promising gig in the acting world because as Palmer, he looks and acts the part to perfection. He is a great guy, terrific teammate, a bodacious Boilermaker, awesome actor. Funny fella, dynamite dad. Will Ferrell was an elf, and this guy played in Guelph. His legend grew when he played in the Sioux. He's got a big hockey bag and has a wicked toe drag. He'll feed you your lunch and can really take a punch. He casts a big shadow and played in Colorado. Retirement was a factor that made him become an actor. You want a bit moresy? He auditioned for Shoresy. Oh, baby Bob Cole, he landed the role. Folks, if you're a fan of Taxi, you like Mary Lou Renner, and please welcome to the show, it's Alex Penner. How you doing, Alex?
I am tip-top. Thank you for asking.
And it's Mary Lou Henner. Mary Lou Renner, I think, is somebody else. I think Mary Lou Henner is on Taxi, the actress, who, not that you asked, did you ever see the show Taxi?
Yep.
Okay, so you know that she's got red hair, a really attractive lady, still attractive. She's 72. But she couldn't remember anything from any moment of her life. You tell her the time and date and she'll produce it.
Really?
Like they say, like people have a photographic memory. Hers is like flawless. It's as if she's just watching a video.
She has a true photographic memory.
Well, yeah, true one. You just look it up. I know there's only like 2 people ever or something that, but she's.
Yeah, people say they have those, but it's actually very rare.
Hers is like a novelty act. It's like David Blaine shit. Anyway, look it up. Mary Lou Renner. Anyway, one's a gymnast and the other is on Taxi. So without me doing the research, and if you're at home and want to look into it, there you go. But in the meantime, we've got Alex Penner. Alex, how are you doing? How are things going? I saw you last week at the nice little fundraiser we had for a couple of nights, but I know people on this show will know you from acting, but others don't realize that you're a Boilermaker. You got a life in Ontario after hockey. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. Busy as usual. That's the way I like it. I like to, if I'm not working, I'm doing renos, and if I'm not doing renos, I'm busy with the family. I like to keep it active. I like to keep it interesting.
Are you still involved in hockey at all? Other than, I mean, I guess you are. I just played a tournament with you and you're in Shoresy. But other than that, do you skate regular?
At the moment, no. Just because, again, busy with things at home, and you know how life gets in the way sometimes of having fun. But I try to. There's a little men's league at work, the Pickering Nuclear Hockey League. They run out of Dom beer. It's great. And then there's a Sunday league in Durham that's usually pretty good. I used to play, or when I can, I play, but it's Sunday. And it was a perfect time. It was like 10 a.m., like 12. So you can come, bring the kid, do a little practice, get a little skate in, and then get your day going. Go to church. Time for church still. And then, but lately, it's been too busy. I haven't skated. That's like these charity tournaments that I can get involved with through the union and through hockey, and like the Shoresy alumni, the classic games, like to be involved with that was great. Wish I was in better shape, but just to get out and skate is always a great time. It's phenomenal.
That was a good group, the Boilermakers. So for those that don't know, we just went, I think, but I don't know, 15 so-called celebrities, ex-NHLers or whatever. I was one of them, and we go and the teams draft us. So Alex's team drafted me, and we had an awesome weekend. I didn't know any of the guys other than you going in. I mean, the players I did, like that went there with me, but I didn't. Now, do you know these guys? I know it's the Boilermakers Union. Do you play hockey with them, or do you guys?
Yeah, this is the union I've been part of for almost 10 years now. And they took me in when I was done hockey, and they gave me a home. They gave me a great life to provide for my family. So it's awesome. Boilermaking is amazing. Never would have thought I got into it, but it's a great trade, and it's a great bunch of guys, as you saw, we're part of. Most of those guys are scattered from all over Ontario. We have our our union reaches out from Sarnia down to Niagara, up to Ottawa, to Sudbury, Thunder Bay. So we have guys coming in all over. They did a fundraise, did this. There's another tournament, the building trades tournament that happens in May out of Vaughan, that we all get together for too. And we put in about 3 or 4 teams, and we have Boilermakers from all over. As you saw, we have our union's very good to us. We got hockey bags, and we get little jerseys and socks, and they make us feel like we are a team, and as close as you can. And they treat us very well, and it's a great time. It's a great time to get together with guys you haven't seen, because they'll usually only see these guys on job sites, and then you're with your family, or when you go away, or if you're away chasing the money, as they say. If you're doing that, then you see them and you're living with them. And like some of these jobs we're doing are like 7-14s. That means 7 days of work, 14 hours a day. You see these guys, these girls and guys, more than your own family most of the time. So you become it's kind of like the military and kind of like the sports. You become like, it's a bond. You're with each other for so much. You get that kind of bond. And to be truthful, like, we're doing high risk stuff. You're going into confined spaces that have gases and atmosphere that can be hazardous. And then you're also working up at heights and stuff. So your life is like in these guys' hands. They're looking out for each other, making sure you have the right safety gear on, making sure you're doing things correctly. So it does become a close-knit brotherhood, and making sure that everyone stays alive and returns home. So, but it's good when you get to these tournaments and you get to let loose and let the fun. You don't have to worry about the safety hazards, except for making it alive to the next game at 9 a.m. So
it starts so early after a night on the booze.
Oh yeah, it's good. So you forget. And that's why we always joke around. We said these hockey tournaments, the worst part of it's playing hockey.
Yeah, if it was just a little bit later, right?
A little bit later. But it's good. It's great.
But we're all in the same boat. Now, I really did get that sense, man, from your team. I got everything you just said. It felt like a family. These guys you could tell that they were part of a unit, union or not. They're just buddies, and one thing brings them together. But I think, your guys' personality, the job, and hockey keeps them together. Now, talking about teams, everything else. So your brother, or do you have more? I know your brother played hockey, but you have more siblings?
I'm the youngest of 3, so I have 2 older brothers. The middle one used to play hockey until he was about 10 or 12. Had a crash into the boards, broke his femur, got into a cast, and then he got into football, and then later on into rugby. So he's a rugby guy, but he's a cop down in Toronto. He's the one that invites me to all those rugby tournaments you see me post. And I love going with the cops. They're a good bunch of guys out of Toronto. And and then my oldest brother I played hockey with, and he had a good little stint of a career himself.
Yeah, so I saw it. I don't know where. I know you've talked about it and doing some research online. I know you guys played together in Colorado. How many years older is he than you? And was he a role model? Like when you were 10 years old, did you want to be a hockey player, or did that just come with the territory as you got older? You got to be a better skater. I mean, you're a big guy, but it's one thing to be a tough guy in pro, but you were also pretty good in minor hockey, fighting or no fighting. So did you know you wanted to be a player, and how much of an influence did your big bro have on you?
Oh yeah, my big brother was like pretty much my role model and my idol growing up, as most big brothers. And his goal was NHL. Like he did everything. He was the one. I was more of a social butterfly. I worked very hard. I was tough and rugged, but my brother was the one that was going for runs in the 40-degree heat.
Focused.
And like he was the one that was giving up like prom dances and stuff to like stay in night and do the hockey tournaments and stuff, where I was like, well, I can have my cake and eat it too. I can go see my friends and wake up and still give her like, like it was so yin and yang. Like it was so funny because my brother signed an NHL contract, and I was out partying and drinking up with all of his buddies and stuff like that. And my brother's like, buddy,
who did he sign with?
He signed with Columbus at the time.
Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. And he was like, man, I have a pro contract, and like you party more than I do. He's like, what do you have? He's like, you don't have anything. He's like, what are you celebrating? He's like, what are you doing? He's like, you should be out there working twice as hard trying to get there. So when you do have that opportunity, you can excel. And I was like, wow, like, I don't know.
Hey, I know your personality. I got some questions from me, and then a bunch when I posted that you were going to be on, some Shoresy fans. So I'm gonna.
Oh, perfect.
We're gonna go over your career a little bit and answer these questions a little bit. Maybe talk about all things topical, and then do some rapid fires. But if that's okay. But a lot of people wanted to know who your role model was then growing up.
Oh, like as far, it was always my dad and my brother, but there was always in your life you always get other people. There was Todd Bertuzzi, who was at a time when he played for Guelph Storm. I love that guy. He was a brute. That. Oh yeah, and then like Tony Twist, Bob Probert, obviously, like going around just being a terror.
So when you were early on, then you knew you were going to drop. I mean, you're dropping the mitts at 16, 17. I'm looking at the stats. But did you? I mean, you've got no fear. You're a big guy, and that was a big part of the game at the time. So that was it just obviously I'm going to fight, or did you have to work yourself into it? You're mentioning these guys as role models, is why I say.
Yeah, I thought fighting was always intriguing. I thought it was awesome. And then my dad told me, because he was an OHL scout and he saw it and he knew, and he's been around the guys, and he was just like, buddy, if you want to make it that far, like you might want to start. And I was fighting at school too. And he was like, you might want to start fighting until your skills catch up. Right. And then once your skills catch up, you can do it. Like think about it. Bob Probert was one of the toughest guys ever. And he still had like 24 goals in a season. Like you got to be good. Like you can't just be a slug. Like you actually have to be able to keep up, make plays. You got to protect. You can't, you know what I mean? So
I know exactly, buddy. I looked up, I think he had 28. He was in the All-Star team his first or second year. Just finished the book. It's absolutely dynamite. It's the third time I read it. But same thing. I've always said, like I looked up to Chris Nyland like that. I was a Habs fan. People forget Knuckles had 21 goals, 19 another year. Like, he really, really chipped in. Like he was an important player. Rick Tocchet was another guy, Cam Neely. Yeah. And I know that there's guys that, had lesser stats, but I don't know. To me, it was a very admirable thing to look up to those kind of players. When you went, so you're playing in Guelph on the, what was it? Not the Dynamiters, the Dominators.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What was that? What league?
That was Junior B Golden Horseshoe.
Golden Horseshoe. Yeah, I've seen some games. My buddy.
Yeah, so they played down in like Fort Erie, St. Catharines, in that area, Brantford. They played in that kind of southern, southwest or whatever, that little tail.
So how did the O come calling?
I was drafted to Guelph Storm pretty much as a favor to my dad because he was like a scout there and my brother played there. And then it was like 14th round, you know what I mean? Like one of those one of those favor things. And then and I took that favor and just worked with it. And then Dave Barr was my coach in Guelph, and he released me because I fell asleep in a meeting. So like, you're 16, whatever. It is what it is. You're staying up late playing games, like whatever. And then so I got healthy scratch for practice, and then I got released. And then Craig Hartsburg coached with my dad back in Guelph, and they were looking for a fighter, and the GM's like, hey, what's your son doing? We'll take him. And then I've told the story before, but yeah, it was me and Joel Reckledge. We battled it out for the fighting position in Sault Ste. Marie. And then, I ended up taking that one. So it was.
And how did you like the Sioux?
I loved the Sioux.
What a spot to play hockey. I would think. I mean, I love hockey atmospheres. For me, like I think that would be just dynamite. But who knows? I've only talked to a few. Jordan.
I heard. I was there with the old rink, and the old rink was amazing. The fans were amazing. The town was awesome. And everybody knew everything in that town. Like Craig Hartsburg and Danny Lambert used to get calls all the time. Like, I see your boys over here. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, so But it was a great. I don't know how I heard the new rink wasn't as nice because the acoustics isn't the same. Like you don't have that. So
never is, man. Never is. We're here. We got a beautiful rink downtown St. John's, Mary Brown Center, but I think a lot of people prefer the old Memorial Stadium. So what brought you to Laredo then, right out of junior? Laredo, for those that don't know, is in a pretty good professional league, the Central Hockey League, and there's been all kinds of great players come through. But it was like real. It was the home of a lot of major tough guys at the time because they paid well. And a lot of people, I'm not putting you down at all. I'd go there right out of junior, but a lot of guys in their mid-20s that saw maybe I'm not going to get up to the top, but I want to play in a minor league that pays a lot, that's good cities. So a lot of them went towards the Central League. What brought you there?
Yeah, no disrespect there at all, man. That's truth. That nailed it. East Coast was more entry level. When you signed your first 3 years. But if you didn't make it in those first 3 years of your entry level contract, there was teams in the Central that were great places to live, warm, and they were paying that they can use your skill and do stuff. So some guys filtered that way. Me personally, it was a team that someone knew. I want to say it was, fuck, I think it was Kyle Dubas was my agent at the time, and he knew that. And that's when Andrew Desjardins from Chicago, me and him played together in the Sioux. And that's when I was like, hey, Kyle, if you need a guy, pick up this guy. This guy is going to be good. Like, he'll go places and whatever. So Desi got with Dubas as well. And then we went there and played there. And like, yeah, it was just a team. I think Dubas knew that because Terry Rakowski was the coach there. So
yeah,
just like
Terry Wiskowski. So
yeah.
listen, what's this Dubas? I know he was in Sault Ste. Marie. My early years of Dubas are foggy. I know he was an analytics guy. I didn't realize he was an agent.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, I love his story too because he was like a stick boy, like a hockey nut, like growing up in Sault Ste. Marie, and then became a stick boy, and then he became a scout at like 17 for the Sioux. And then he went to like St. Catharines, got his like degree, and then like, he had some backing and someone got him an agency. And then he was like agent at like 24. And my dad knew with him and he was like, this kid knows what's going on. He's like, hey, if you need a kid that's going to work for you and stuff. And I think he had like Fisher at the time and whatever. But yeah, he was good, young, he was hungry, he was calling, he was doing everything. And then so I jumped with him, and then yeah, he just blew up. And next thing you know, he was GM in the NHL, and he's like,
yeah, I guess the rest is history. So Laredo, now I've seen, so I played in the West Coast Hockey League for 2 years, and we had like crossover games. And I remember being like playing in Kansas City and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool spot. But the one that blew me away, I don't know if they were in the league when you were there, Oklahoma City. I could not believe, I couldn't believe it. The fans,
the stadium,
how electric the rink was. Like they were selling, there was scalpers.
10,000 fans.
Yeah, there was 10,000 people at the game. I remember, like it was. Well, I mean, it was a sellout. They told us 10,000, and we were Colorado Springs. I don't know where your Colorado team played. I played out of Colorado Springs, and there was no real reason. It's not like we were a rival. So I remember going in thinking, geez, within their own league, this place must be fucking electric all the time. Can you imagine playing there in the playoffs? So how was your experience in the Central League? Is it exactly what I think? Some cool places with awesome fans?
Oh yeah, it was, and I was in Laredo too. So like we had a lot of Spanish community. It was a different vibe like this, but the Spanish community was amazing. So open. They're just like, come, like barbecues, beef, everything. Like, it was cool.
Okay. By the way, what did people call you? Pen Dog? Was it just like what? X Weapon, X Factor?
Some guys call me Weapon X just from hockey and from that promo of fighting. Some guys X. Usually just Penner.
Yeah.
Or Pens. Like, you know what I mean? But the odd time people like to use the weapon.
I like using the weapon. So over the course of, for those listening, over the course of the next few years, so you go Laredo and then Johnstown, Colorado, Nottingham, back to Colorado, Rapid City, and then the Quebec League, the Quebec Senior Hockey League, which is really tough, and we're going to get there. But just so people know, because I probably won't get to each place, given our time restraints, but I really want to know what it was like to play in Johnstown, and so do about a half dozen Shoresy fans when they saw that, because those who really know, that really know hockey and are big fans, know that Johnstown is the inspiration for the hit movie Slapshot, which came out, I think, in 1977. It's about the Charleston Chiefs in the show, but that's, of course, the Johnstown Chiefs in real life. How was it to play there? Did the show emulate real life in that it was a real tough place that loved their tough players? And was it enjoyable?
I loved Johnstown. It was amazing. Like, and I had Mike Scroy there too. So
God, another one.
Oh yeah, and there was a lockout, so like we had great guys like Trevor Hendricks, because we had Nashville or Florida and Columbus. Nashville and Columbus. We had two teams that were affiliated with us, so it was great, and they had a really good team. But it was one of those places you can get drunk anywhere for $20 a night. It was
just exactly what the movie is then.
Oh, it
You know,
was
they're
the
going
movie.
down to
Like
the
I
Aces.
would find they had the dog, the statue of
Oh
the
yeah, I saw
dog.
that
They
one.
had the Aces where they're like, "Hey, let's go to the
Yes.
Aces." So
Yeah.
like we went to the Aces and did stuff there. I met the real Reggie Dunlop, and he gave us his red jacket. And we wore it around that night and got hammered
Oh
in it.
my
And
God.
then like we went to the old bar where they used to have the bar where they're like, "Hey, we're moving." And they're like moving to Florida, and the guy starts swinging. He's like, "I want some snatch by the pool." Like,
Oh yeah, I know.
so we'd go there for breakfast, and it was hilarious. People would be smoking darts, and it was awesome. I tried to make it as much as Slapshot as I could
I
because it
bet.
was literally there, and I was there with long hair and a beard, just like now, and it was amazing. I went to this one place all the time, Scott's Diner, and like I would drink there, and like I went there all the time for lunch, and like sat in my corner, had my thing, like.
You
Oh
know, I
yeah,
like there's something comforting when you get to a city. I don't know. I can compare maybe Boise and Colorado Springs. Other place I played, I knew a little bit about. The Hershey was another one, I guess. But when you get there and you find your little nooks and crannies and you find your little hangout, and you're like, okay, this is where I'm going to be for the year. Something nice about it. I don't know. It's freeing for the mind or something. You get in and you get to know these little places. Colorado Springs for me, there was just so many cool bars and restaurants. But look, so as far as Slapshot goes, I played a couple games. I'm assuming you played in the old barn,
yeah, the
or
War
even
Memorial.
the War Memorial. I found it wild because the last two guys on the bench, there's no room, so you got to sit in the crowd. When I say in the crowd, honestly, people think I'm exaggerating, but I don't know if it had changed. It would have been only a couple of years before you got there. I was there in, I guess, 01, 01, 02.
Uh,
And I was wild. The end, I like actually sitting in the bucket seats, and then when we went off, we had to go right through the crowd. We went to our dressing room. Of course, the visiting dressing rooms were like as big as a bathroom. There was no room for anybody. It was a miserable experience. I can only imagine you and Scroy there together, and you looking the part. Like, did they love you there? They must have gone crazy.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. Like that's what I was more nicknamed like Jesus then, and like I was just like playing to the crowd, and then Scroisy was just an animal doing being Scroy. So like like I'm not living up to that, but like I was putting on a show too,
And you
and
guys had to fight. Oh, there was a lot of tough guys in that league those years, man. You would have had to fight all comers.
oh it was great, and that was what I mean. Like it was good to
Well,
it
you
was a
got up
good
to the
time.
A. Is
Yeah.
that the year you got up to the American Hockey League? So, I mean, you must have done something, right? How was your experience in Lake Erie? 8 games, 22 minutes. You must have gotten a couple.
Oh yeah, I got oh man, I had a great experience just because like I had those you have to have those laughable moments where like where like the American League's like a little bit more cutthroat and people are like watching their jobs and they don't want you to do good because like they're the next call up for the NHL they're hoping and like
Oh,
oh that so like I had this is how much I haven't even paid attention or anything. I forget his name. Anyways, he told me Francis Lassard was a righty, went in
I
there,
thought, oh my
and Francis Lassard, everybody knows. Anybody that knows anything, Francis Lassard is a pure lefty.
God. I fought
So
him
I
three
just
times in
ate.
Philly one night and first game back in St. John's first shift. Yeah. I've not bragging about that. He gave it to me pretty good. I didn't go down, but he's a fucking lefty if I've ever fucking seen one.
How do you think he knows how to throw a right? and,
No,
like,
I
and
ate
like, so I just
3,000
ate
left.
like three or four off the bat, and you know how Lassard is. So he did Lassard. Everyone knows Lassard. So he speared me off the draw, that jumped me, and like that's fine. Like we all know, and you take it and do your thing. But like, yeah, just lefty, pure lefty. Just ate four lefts before I could tie it up and knew what was going on. I thought there was going to be a right coming sometime. I was like, oh, I'll just
Oh
eat these
boy.
lefts because there's going to be a big right coming. No, no, just more
Yeah.
lefts.
Scary guy. I remember just line up at the start of the game. He knew I'd fight him, and he knew it would look good because I'm going to put on a show, but I'm not a threat to really break his face or anything. But everybody, the crowd would get going. He loved fighting me, and never just never. I'm not going to say gave me a chance. It was one. It was one cunt here away from jumping me. Like I knew he was coming, but he wouldn't give you a chance. He'd come in and either a spear or a slash, and then we're going. And whether you like it or not, the guy played defense. So before I move on, and I don't want to make it all about me, I often do that, but I got a relatable story. But
Yeah.
he played defense, so he was actually pretty good if he ever wanted to play. And but by that I mean a lot of tough guys to that level couldn't play D and be responsible. You know, they were like throw you on the wing or something and just go out and hit somebody. But he was a pretty good player. It was just wow. I mean, crazy and tough and just absolutely irresponsible with the stick were three things that you had to look out for, even though we're fighting those guys.
That's a great way to put it.
You know what I mean? And you must have come across a lot. Before I skip over anything, you know, from there you go to Colorado, which is wild, but Nottingham, okay. So I've had, since I posted the picture with you, I've pictures, but the picture that we were Hockey Helps the Homeless or Easter Seals, Brad May's Easter Seals. So I posted a picture of us, and immediately, I don't know if all these guys were together on that particular night drinking or whatever it was, because I got it immediately, like at least a half dozen specifically saying in Nottingham, you threw your stick into a bench.
Oh, yeah. There's Nottingham. I was a very
So how did you get to Nottingham, first of all? Those that don't know, we're talking about Nottingham, England here. We're talking about we're talking about the English Elite League, I think they call it, right? Which is famous for having tough guys. A lot of the other leagues over there aren't. You don't go to Sweden to want to throw down, but this particular league, you do. So how did you get there? And what was the reception?
I believe Kyle Dubas was my agent at the time, and he was just looking for something for me to do. And he was like, "Hey, like you could bounce around here, try to make it if you want, or you could go over to England. I got a spot for you, and you can just settle there and become a legend." And I was like, okay, but I was like 24, and it's like it's an early time to be settling down on like a faraway country and become a legend. You know what I mean? And like you're like England, whatever. But they had like a guy, I forget his name now. I'm so terrible. Like it's like they had like Cathcart or anyway. Everybody in England knows who I'm talking about. There was this real tough guy that everyone loved, and they were saying like I was going to be the next him, and I could, if I wanted it, I could have the crown and have it. Be a good community guy, and because everybody in England loves to drink, they love to talk, they love to do all those things I love to do. So they're like, you can have a good time there. And then I was like, okay, sure. And I went there, met some great people, friggin' had a lovely time, but just the hockey just wasn't tickling my fancy the way it is. Like I really love hockey, and I really love high end hockey, and really love good competitive hockey, and so I wanted more from the hockey aspect of it. But as far as being in the community and the fans and enjoying myself, it was all that and more. Like England was awesome.
You got to experience it, man. Like that's something else. And I tell you what I noticed when I looked at it. I know you told me about it, but I wanted to see the team you played on. You played with a guy that I think this was in Nottingham. I got my notes written here. Who I thought was an absolutely fantastic junior, and he fell off the face of the earth because he lost his eye on a breakaway, and his name was David Alexander.
I know exactly. I knew you were going to talk about him. Yeah,
man. That was a big thing. You check it out.
Was it Kevin Bergen? Is it Kevin Bergen?
Who? Oh, that knocked it out?
No. What was his name again?
David Alexander Beauregard.
Oh, David Alexander Beauregard.
He was an all-star in the Canadian Hockey League, and he had a breakaway, and the guy came up, but he had a visor on. It wasn't as far back as no visors. It just came up under his visor, and it just blinded him basically. And he came back and played. I really think that guy would have played in the NHL. But anyway, I hadn't heard of him in a while, and he was over there playing with you. So, I mean, you met some good people. And by the way, could he still snipe?
Oh yeah, he was great, and that was his story. That was the story that followed him for his whole career, as far as I know. Is that he was NHL bound, and then freak accident, and he's doing the best he can with what he's got, and he's so fast, great stride. Yeah, he's still sniping. It was just
So then honestly I'm glad you said that, because the first time I saw him play, he had two eyes. And I'm telling you right now, this guy was lights fucking out. Look at the numbers. I don't know what they are, but I remember looking at him back then, and they were sick. Okay, so Nottingham, all that. Oh, 1 second. Farm Dog. Come on in. I'm literally doing a podcast. My buddy came by to get I got some merch. Here you go, buddy. Take this. My buddy Farmer Ready. Look at that. I got Alex Penneron plays Palmer on Shoresy. It's an open
Hey,
door
let's
here.
go,
I
buddy.
got books coming in and out. I got some merch going. I got some coming out real soon. You'll see some Tales with TR stuff. Anyway, Merry Christmas. No sweat. I'll see you at Trinity Pub or something pretty soon. My good buddy, senior hockey line mate, and would go through the wall for anybody. Farmer Ready. Look it up. Mark Farmer Ready. See you, buddy. Yeah, there you go. Little interlude. I could have pressed pause, but why? Why not just put Farmer up?
I love it.
No,
I
listen.
love it.
So, and look, I don't want to skip over everything. You went to the Quebec League. So those listening to this, again, there's some people that listen that are Shoresy fans. Some are senior hockey fans. Most people, I would think, know what I'm talking about when I say that Quebec LNAH. Those who don't, for years considered the toughest hockey league on the planet. This is where every tough guy would go to kind of finish out their career. And a lot of them, like John Nasty Morasti, to start it. Like really, there was guys coming out of there from that league going into the American Hockey League, which is wild to say, right? Because senior hockey, everybody thinks, oh, it's senior whale shit. We're all on the way down. But this is a different league with a different context now. All those tough guys, and they all have them. Now, I think, and so does our listener, Jarrett from Montreal, told me to ask you about this. You come in. Now it's Nasty, Terrio, yourself, Boss. I mean, I can go down the list. There's all kinds of major tough guys. So when you agreed to go to that league, you must have known it. Now, and meaning, I mean, there must be some level of anxiety to that, or maybe not. When you go, did they embrace you? And you played 2 years. Did you enjoy playing in that league?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was what I went there and did what I had to do, which was fight, and I enjoyed it. Like at the time in my life, it was exactly what I wanted to do. All I wanted to do is go to the gym and then pretty much Rocky Balboa my day, which is like go for jogs, go for workouts, train, hit the bag. Like I just loved fighting. I loved to fight, boxing, Muay Thai, like hockey. Like to be able to do the fighting and the hockey as a combo was just a gift from God to me.
So
And
they
then
called you then after you played in at least a couple of months in Rapid City in 12-13. Did they phone you and offer? I mean, they might, you know, ever talk.
they were
Numbers
phoning me
on
all
here,
the
but they gave
time,
you a good.
and yeah, they were always phoning me every year, and I was just like, no, no, no. And then I got suspended from like the Central East Coast and like pretty much Gonzos. And
What'd you
then
get suspended for?
oh, I got suspended for this line brawl in Allen that I ground and pounded this kid, and pretty much Allen was the bad boy in the league, and they needed an scapegoat, and I was the guy, and Allen still went off and won the league. Like I got like a 47 game suspension from it because they're like rest of the season, which was 15 games, and the rest of the playoffs, and they won they went game 7 in all the rounds. So if you added it up, it was like 49 games or something I was suspended for. Wow. It was like, oh, it was crazy. But
that's
yeah, it was
big.
good. It was
There
good
must
little
have
like
something more to that. If it was a 40-something game, so you just skate over someone's finger or something.
Oh, I pretty much just chased the guy, not chased it down. I stalked the guy, two-handed him, then I Taubertuzi'd him, which they call it, which is just like kind of bear hug, sucker punch this guy. And then I got him to the ground and pinned him, and then I did like kidney shots to him, and like
What was
so
the reason?
it didn't look the greatest. It was a well-controlled massacre.
It didn't look the greatest. It didn't look the greatest. You just explained the most violent scene of Scarface to me. No, it didn't look the greatest. Oh, holy fuck. Yeah, the optics weren't phenomenal on that one. No, look, but it did happen.
It was a bad camera angle.
Yeah. Ew, if only you could see the other one. There's not quite as much visceral blood to it. So wait. But what was the reason? There must have been a reason. This guy fuck around or what?
Oh no, it was we were down 6-2. We're in Allen. We were playing the other Texas team. We were down 6-2. We were just sending a message like, hey, when playoff comes, this is what you got to look forward to. And we just grabbed their guys, had a line brawl. The goalie fought. We had Aaron Dell. And after this fight, Aaron Dell went up to the American League, had confidence, played like it was one of those things you have to have. You have to have one of these going into playoffs to make sure that everybody knows like we got each other, and like it's going to be good. We got it.
It often
So
works out for the better, honestly. And I guess unless you're a hockey player, especially a hockey player at that time, you wouldn't quite get it. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It does give you a little bit of a jolt. Now, of course, you're
and
the second, you fell on your sword for it. But anyway,
yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, I remember we were owned by like a group that was like Mike Modano, Ed Belfour, Matthew Madchuk, and like Steve Ludwig. And like I remember Ed Belfour's like he's in the stands. First time I ever talked to him, I look at him, he looks at me, he goes, "Man, you got fucked." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And then he like walks away, and I was like, well, "Okay, right on."
In
Good
the
chat.
Quebec League, were they just waiting, like the puck would drop and everybody knew that you were going, and you just had to stand back and go, or did it happen organically during the play? Most fights, just
Mostly organic. Most like I knew what I was there for, but like me, like coming from like actual hockey league, like I'm used to like hockey, and you just let it go, and then there's a time and a place, and there's a reason, and you know you want it to sway, you want the energy movement,
So
and
it
there's
was
like all
still
this
a
crap.
reason you were. I mean, just because I've seen some, and I did watch a few games. And to be honest with you, years ago I was offered to go to that league when I was playing senior hockey, and I'm in Montreal. I won't say a lot, but sometimes a lot, and never really 2 years go by I'm not there. So I've seen some games, and to be honest with you, it was way better than I thought. I thought every single player on both teams were going to be like that, and it wasn't.
No. The first three lines are all like ex-American League guys, ex-NHL guys, all guys that are finishing up pro, that are coming home. They want to make some bucks on the weekend, and they have a job from Monday to Friday. Like, so it's a great gig. It's a great league. I knew I was there for fighting, so but like it got to the point where there'd be one fight, and then puck drop, another fight. And I'm like, okay, let's save some fights and let's play some hockey and like let's go. But like they wanted the fight, so you give the crowd what they want. And these guys, there's guys up there that literally want to prove themselves. So you got to give them their chance. You got to give them the ring, and they want to prove themselves that they're a tough guy. Because being in Quebec in general, and being a tough guy is literally is like wearing the medal of honor.
24/7, you're working 24, especially looking like you. I don't know if even when you don't have that beard and long hair, you got those braids, or you got like you always looked like a killer. Even if you didn't feel like it every single day. I don't know. I'm not in your brain, but I think that's half the reason that you're just so perfect for Shoresy. I mean, Jared knows what he's doing. He picks us to play the parts to some level. I mean, Palmer to me looks like a fucking killer, right? Did he ask you to keep the beard?
I think like I asked them, I was like, "Hey, what do you guys want? You want beard and stuff like that?" And they're like, "Hey, like whatever." I was like, "Hey, man, I got head tattoos. I can do whatever. Like, what do you like? You name it. I can give you some crazy shit." And they're just like, yeah, just beard and hair." And so I just let it kind of grow and kind of gave it more, just kept it more hockey instead of like Scarborough gangster look that us 416 boys usually carry on us.
Oh, fuck yeah. Well, you did. With the braids, you look like a bit of a killer too, to be honest. So, to put it lightly. So who would have been then some of your big fights in that league?
In Quebec, well, obviously Morasti was some big fights, but Terrio was the big, like the show-stopping big fight. Like everybody was like, "All right, we're gonna see this one. This is the one that's going to like put him on his map and test him." So I didn't even know this. Like I wasn't a big knowledgeable Terrio guy and stuff until afterwards.
Pay attention to shit. You don't. I love your approach. You don't give a fuck. Like you went in not even knowing, or I mean, I can't say not caring, but I often ask you how many points you had in a year, how many minutes you're. Like, I don't know what you're like. You really don't know your own stats a lot of the time. So Terrio was I got into him too in Portland, and he left the American League. I didn't know where he went, and then I found out, and he looked way bigger. I fought him when he was real tough, but he looked like a normal, looked like me. Fuck, he got big.
It was in those where I was like, okay, like here we go. I just knew like I was going up there to fight, and like, yeah, man, I'm there to fight. I researched some guys. Some guys I just kind of like, okay, we'll figure it out on the way. And then once you're on my radar and on my map, then I gotta know. Especially like Morasti, like a guy that if there's a guy that gets an edge on me or beats me or stuff like that, then it becomes like I need to win. I need to get him. I need to figure him out. I need to get this Rubik's Cube figured out, and I need to win it. So, but Terrio was a good one, and that was just a toe to toe, and he was crazy fun. Like, switch, let's go, come on, bring it, let's do it. And I'm just like during the fight, and I'm just a silent fighter. Like I just feel you out, do your thing. Like I like to go and like, yeah, I'm more in my own mind. Like, I'm not worried about you. I'm me. Like, I'm just so in my own head and so in my own world and my own belief that like doesn't matter who you are or what you bring or what people believe in you. Like, I'm coming with more of an aura and more of a presence.
Yeah. Well, look, I've got more than one person thinks that you, Terrio, and Nasty were the top three in the league that year. Um, you know, as far as tough guys. Now,
Oh yeah,
I don't. I want to get back because you played parts of 3 years in Colorado. Where was it? Fort Collins, or am I wrong?
yeah. Fort Collins, Loveland. There's a little area, but Fort Collins is the major city it's
Yeah,
out of.
okay,
Yeah,
so Colorado Springs a little ways from that, but I spent a lot of time there.
yeah.
You know, it's being in Colorado. I loved Colorado. I
Oh, it
drove
was
a lot.
awesome.
Every single town or city there, I'm aware of, and I visited. So your brother was there. So first of all, it's just an awesome spot to be. All of Colorado. Did you enjoy playing there, and how was that experience playing with your brother?
Yeah, first of all, Colorado, like you said, like the state of Colorado, beautiful. Every bit of Colorado is amazing. It's the wildlife, the adventure, everything, the food, the social, everything about Colorado is great. The team was unbelievable. Colorado Eagles. They went from
Yeah,
Central to East Coast to American League just because they have a great organization. They take care of it. The fans are so involved. The community is amazing. And then playing with my brother was one of the best things. Like we grew up playing ball hockey together on like a school team here and there, but never pro. And to play on a pro team and actually go through that experience with each other is awesome. Like it's all those things that you did as a kid. Played road hockey together. You went on those hockey trips, those tournaments. You did stuff to be actually pro and someone taking care of you, and you just showing up and playing and just having fun with each other is something that you'll remember. And now, like he's in Winnipeg with his family, and I'm here with my family, and my middle brother's got his family. Like you don't realize how much those events and those moments are cherished because you don't get them. You know, everyone moves on with life. Everyone's got their thing going on, right? So it was such a privilege and such a great opportunity to be able to have that and to remember that. It's awesome. I loved it.
did you guys?
It was so fun.
Did he have his family then, or were you guys both single? And did you live apart? And did you go out a lot?
He was at first he was married. I was single, I think, the first year. And then maybe I was married. I think we were both married, like by the end of it, when we were together for like 3 years. And then,
Nice.
but we went out. I went out all the time. Like, oh yeah, he took care of me. Like, I was, I, oh, I hate to say this, but like, I went in there with a DUI, so I couldn't drive anyway. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm never driving. So I was just always out socializing, drinking. Like,
Oh my
he'd always
God,
like
yes.
throw me in a cab. Like, I had like, oh, I was out all the time. I had my certain bars I'd go to. Had my certain bartenders that took care of me, and like,
Oh yeah, put all the responsibility on him. Just shove it all
oh,
under the couch over to him.
oh yeah, I
I'm
was
not
a
laughing
younger
at you.
brother.
It happens. Yeah, you know, I know you're big boy. You learned from it. We talked about it. It's all good. I'm not laughing at that. I'm just, I love your
Oh no, it's
irresponsible
awesome.
nature, but you stay on the track. You're
Oh,
you're cut
he
clear
took care
away
of me.
from like the train going off the tracks at like 500 times during your life, but
Oh,
you always manage to
he
keep it. Hence, sleeping on the dressing
Andrew
room
Andrew
floor.
took care of me so much. Like even like a quick story. Friggin', we're in Colorado and we had to do like thank you cards for Christmas and stuff like that. And at the end of it, like someone got a bonus for doing extra little bit extra on Christmas cards. And they're like, the worst person that did the worst was Petter. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, Weapon, you did the worst Christmas cards. I go, well, what'd you want? Friggin' Merry Christmas. I like long walks on the beach. My favorite color is blue. Like, what'd you want? Merry Christmas. See you later. And he's just like, what the hell? And then I was like giving it me and like Chris Stewart, the owner, president, GM, head coach, was like going back and forth. And Andrew was like, hey, that's enough. And I was like, oh, I guess. And then Stewart was like, all right, someone's got a leash on this guy. All right. So he's like, all right, we'll keep you guys together then. I'm like, all right, we can work this out. I
Oh
got it.
yeah,
If I
so
ever have,
it worked in their favor. It's
oh
gonna
yeah,
go one
he's
way or
like,
the
if I ever
other.
have trouble with you, I go to your brother and your brother will straighten you out. Okay, good.
Sam from Sydney, Australia wants to know if you could have had one attribute to make it a 10 out of 10, and change you like, so clearly you played as far as the American Hockey League, which is one step away from the NHL. But, for me, it would have been skating. there's always something to improve. And, I knew if I could just be a bit better of a skater, I would have been a way more complete player. For you, what attribute? I mean, you're tough, you got a good shot. Would have been agility, or maybe you don't think your shot's very good. Maybe,
I think I had a lot going on for myself at the time because my dad always signed me up for power skating because he's like, you got to be able to skate. So I did like Sidney Bauer. I went to like top power skaters that were well known. Shooting was good because I shot on my brother my whole career. Like Dwayne Rollison went to his schools, shot. I was always a shooter. Like, and stuff. I think me, honestly, was more of like a mental thing. Like I was so horny to prove myself as a fighter and stuff. I just totally forgot to play hockey. And if I just played hockey and then fought and I think, you know what I mean? Like I was just,
and you're the
every
social
time I
butterfly
fought,
too. That was a bar culture time for hockey players, but I bet you were just burning it at both ends. Not irresponsibly. I don't take you for the kind to be fuck you guys. I'm staying out. But just like let's just go push it as far as we possibly can.
Oh yeah, definitely going out. Like I burned some bridges because of my socialness. Like I got caught by the maid, friggin' smoking some Canadian tobacco in one of the hotel rooms. So that didn't fly too well with the Lake Erie Monsters and like just stupid stuff like that. But I was just being
stupid
me.
Stuff. It didn't matter one way or the other. There's people smoking weed. I mean, lots of people, but it was just a no to be doing it in a hotel, like around that.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and like I was just getting, I was definitely burning the wick. I was going out, I was doing this, I was playing that. I was just not, I was way too horny, like when I was on the ice and like do stuff and stick guys and like, but yeah, like I think my biggest attribute was just, I guess, discipline, mental and discipline.
It's a great, honest answer. I got some more questions here. Now we're gonna have you. I just brushed over a lot because I'd love to have you on for volume 2 soon. I often do that with people. I mean, your story's big. We haven't even gotten much into the acting, which a lot of people want to hear. So for the rest of this, about another 10 minutes, if you don't mind, we're gonna do rapid fire.
Whatever you need, bud.
We cool? Okay, here we go.
Oh yeah.
Alex Penner, rapid fire randoms. Here we go. Hardest punch you've ever taken?
Joel Theriault.
In the Quebec League.
In the Quebec League, Joel Theriault, he hit me 3 times in a row, and it was like whack, 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 and I was like, "Oh my god, thank God I had my head down here and took him here, because if I had him here, it would have been a shattered orbital bone."
Shattered orbital, and you're down. Yeah, half of knowing how to fight is knowing how to take a punch, and that's instinctive for a lot of people. You're on death row. What are you going to have? Your death row meal?
Oh fuck, that would be that would be.
No, don't be
I can go either way. It'd be like a meatloaf with a pecan pie. Or it's going to be a nice steak with like a potato side. Not sure if I want to go like French fries, scalloped potato, or just a good mash, like a double baked potato maybe, but with a creme brulee finish. And then either with a nice wine with the steak or an old fashioned.
I love old fashions. You got me into those in Shoresy. I never had one in my life.
I love them.
They were, I don't know if you remember, it was one of your first days. We went over to the keg and they were people were offering me martinis because of the show. And, I love a drink as much as anything. It wasn't my first pick to always have martinis or martinis, but you were like, hey, try one of these old fashions. And I'd heard of it. I never really got into them, but I fucking love them now. I can't have any more than 2 though, or the night's over.
Oh, it's a man's cocktail.
Because I drink so fast. Yeah. Well, so do you. And by the way, I love the meatloaf pecan pie answer. So if I'm serving, I'm going to go with that because I've never heard anybody say that, and I ask it a lot.
That's my favorite. That's my birthday.
If you could pick one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I would go with I'd go with regeneration because I love Wolverine and that's the whole Weapon X thing and stuff. But nice. Man, there's some good one. I love X-Men.
Regeneration. Hey man, Wolverine, or I believe Deadpool. I guess you could call that regeneration as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Interesting angle. Okay, you got to give up one of these things forever: jeans, hats, or elbow pads. You can still play hockey. You just can never wear elbow pads. You can dress up. But never wear jeans or hats.
Elbow pads for sure. Because hats, I always have a hat on.
I knew you would take the reckless decision. I know, like, because jeans and hats
jeans. All I can picture myself now, like out of that 3 combo, all I can picture myself now is with a hat, shirtless, with nice jeans on, just throwing dirty elbows at people.
I knew the answer would be elbow pads. Anything safe, anything that's safe, get that shit out of here. Okay, one movie you got to pick. An alien life form. Life forms have come here and they look just like us. They have the same culture, context, and everything, but they don't have movies and they don't understand that you can cry during a movie. Pick one movie that would make these aliens cry. They've never seen a movie before. Doesn't have to be sad either. It could be like Rudy.
And they're the same as us.
Tears of joy. Yeah. So they're coming from the same place. Picture them like Australians, but they've never seen a movie. Just slightly different, but they're human.
And they have to cry? Okay. It'd be something like Lion King or like Bambi. I'm going to go with Lion King just because.
The sentimental cry. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just watched it with my daughter and stuff. And like, she was like, oh, and then like afterwards, she was like, I went to go get a water, and she's like, don't leave me. And I was like, oh god, because of the scene of like Mufasa getting thrown and dying, and like, and Simba's like, Papa, like, Daddy, Dad. I'm like, oh yeah. I was like,
yeah, that would do it actually. How old's your daughter?
4.
You know what's a great when she gets a couple of years? Not that you asked, but a great movie for dealing with death is Coco. It's a cartoon. Penny Lane saw it when she was 6 or 7. Not that I want to spring death upon kids, but at some point you have to teach it to them. And I just thought that movie dealt with it almost brilliantly. Well,
it's hilarious because like the wife's family like tiptoes and they're like, oh, we like the dog passed away. They're like, oh, we left the dog back over there, and I was like, just tell her.
But at some point, that has to.
Like, I came up on a farm.
That a good thing.
Yeah, like I came from a farm. Thing. Like it's just the circle of life. Like that's how it happens.
Circle of life, right? So speaking of the Lion King, circle of life. Okay, so you're offered $36 billion, but you have to the rest of your life have Daffy Duck legs and feet. So you got that. You waddle around. You got like you got duck bottom half. It's $36 billion you're offered, but you again. The bad side. You do have a normal cock and balls. Other than that,
I was just picturing that. I was going to ask you. I was like, "Do I have my cock and balls?"
You do.
Because I'm going to have a duck body with just his.
You know what? Yeah, duck body sucks. Let's just say from the knees down. So you got those little. So it's more like an ostrich, but you got big webbed, cartoon, silly feet.
So pretty much, I just have my big feet I have now, just more web.
Yeah, where you can't get shoes on. You clearly anybody sees you is like, and
For
you've got a little bit of a
billion,
strut.
Of course.
What?
36 billion? Why not? I can swim better.
Okay, yeah. Take the positives. Now you're offered $700 million, a mere $700 million, which Juan Soto would scoff at. $700 million. Now you've got to take your big toe and attach it to your forehead, and your new name forever is Corky Lemieux. So you're Corky Lemieux, and you've got a big toe on your forehead. There's no like paying for surgery. It's got to be there, right on your forehead, above one of your eyes, a big fucking toe. But you get $700 million.
The only way I'd agree to that is if I became like a villain with that 700 million and just came up with like Toe Face, the villain or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, why do you try to destroy the world? To be like, look at me. Why wouldn't I? I got a toe for a fucking forehead.
It's my new favorite villain, Toe Face. Your most memorable goal you've ever scored. This could be any time. It could be minor hockey. It could be, playing pro, whatever. It doesn't even have to be a big goal. Just memorable for you.
You know what? Yeah. So one pops in. Like I was going to say the only one on the internet with Nottingham, the little breakaway, but no, seriously, the one that pops into all the time, just because this just sums up hockey for you or any sport and training and everything. So one day, Greg Pankowitz took me after practice, and we were playing, and you're off the post, and he had the pucks, and he would give me a pass in front, and you'd push it. Whoa, whoops, hello, and then you'd push it ahead a little bit, right? Take the pass from behind the net, push it ahead, and then shoot it for that over that low inside post shot, right? Just over the blocker, goalies, and just boom, boom. boom, boom. Practice that after practice for like 10 minutes. Next thing you know, that night, that was pregame skate. That night comes around, get a pass, do the little take it, push it ahead to get it off the goalie. Boom, low block happened. I was just like, holy shit! Like, there's one of those things. You know what I mean? You practice these things, and you practice these things because you get into those game situations, and it happens. And it's just one of those things that you laugh at, and you're like, this is why you practice, because when you get into the game, you're ready for it. And then another goal, just a little off topic, but another goal was just mental. I remember being a junior in Niagara Falls in Welland, and the puck was coming like off the face off, and I was like, "Hey, puck's going to come back to me. That guy's going to cut across because that's his job to jump out. I'm going to use him as a screen. I'm going to shoot it. It's going to go glove side, goal. Puck came back, face off. Puck came back. Guy jumped in, shot it, goal. And I was like, "Holy shit, that's a mental imagery. Like foreseeing it, making it happen, doing stuff." So those are two things that pop in my mind every time you think of like a goal. I'm like, that.
Yeah, no, that's a very specific answer, and I like it. You manifested it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
There is $9.65 million on the table. It's yours if you succeed at one of these things. What do you think is going to be, what are you going to pick? I want to say easiest because none of them are actually easy. But so number one, you fight Jake Paul. Number two, you got to go 4 for 10 on breakaways versus each Igor Shesterkin. You got to go at least 4 for 10, obviously. And number three, you got to go 3 for 30 at the plate against Jose Barrios, one of the Jays pitchers.
Oh, Jesus.
So if you go 4 for 30, well, yeah, if you go 3 hits, got to be a hit though, not like you make contact. You're in a game.
Yeah, that's
you've got to like get a hit and get on base. Doesn't have to be a homer. Just 3 times out of 30. 3 out of 30.
Oh, I would go. My category from easiest to hardest would be, with those circumstances, would be Jake Paul number 1 is easiest. The breakaways is number 2, as second easiest, and then hitting baseball would be the third.
Interesting. And have you done any boxing? Not that Jake fucking Paul did. You did more fighting than him before he started. I just threw that out there because I'm like, he is a boxer.
If I was ever to do a boxing challenge and stuff, I'd link up with any of the Grant brothers, and train with those guys. There's Otis and Howard.
There's those things. I did one a couple of years ago, like those. I did it now. I was kind of I wasn't looking forward to it. Someone called, someone bailed, and I had to go in. And I did one of these, like fighting a guy UFC style on the ice. I don't even want to say what happened yet. I think they're going to release it soon. It's been a year. It's been 2 years. But anyway, you'd be good at that, man. Pound for pound.
Where'd you do that?
I did it in Boston. I'll show you after this. I got video clip of it. People that did it, we're just kind of sitting on it. Now, it's almost, like I'm saying, it's almost 2 years ago. So at some point, I don't know if they're going to find a home for it. But this was like UFC. No, this was sponsored by UFC, all of it. Like on the ice, guy come out, I fight him. 4 rounds, a minute each round, except if your helmet comes off or if you stop or anything, it's stop the time. So you have to be like fighting for a full minute 4 times. It's honestly, it was, anyway, it's not my interview, but I'll tell you when we get off the air, and I still maintain that you'd be good at it. You get a time machine, you can go anywhere. Where would you want to go? This won't affect the rest of, it's not going to be a butterfly effect. Time machine, you can go anywhere at any time for a day. See how things went down. Where would you want to go?
Oh, that is a great question. Wow. Off the top of my head, I would say, like 1700s, 1800s, Wild West, something to see what's going on and how everything happens and how crazy it was while everything was going on during the 1812, or beforehand. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. In recent history, enough that we know about it. Like, I could say, put me back to when the Aztecs were, but I don't really know. We know a little bit that we can dig up, but like, we know there's a lot of things written in English in our language, and we can go back only like my great grandfather, which isn't that far away in human, would have seen all of this, because a lot of people. I'm the same. I mean, realistically, I would want to go somewhere in the early 1900s or any time in the 1800s, just because I find it fairly close. and I could see some relatives that aren't 5,000 years in the past that, okay, you're going to be related to me. And, it's something that would be, I think,
Yeah.
would
Yeah,
blow
but
my
like
mind to
again,
see
I was
relatives.
thinking I was thinking in the back of my head, I was like the first like extinction, because they say how the worlds have a couple of times where it's done over, where it's gone
Yeah,
over. I was like, well, like I want to see like something like that. Like how was the world before the first extinction or before the second, or like I was like
that's
when the
another great,
dinosaurs left.
that would be, I think, I think that would be, not that we'll ever have it, but what a great tool. I'm sure at some point, real soon, you're going to be able to wear the VR and you're going to be able to go wherever you want. I mean, we can pretty much do that now. It's only going to improve. Um, at some point, I often knock technology, but I think that would be absolutely, that would blow me away to be able to. At some point soon, you're going to just put those on and you're going to watch Elvis live. Like, which people scoff at, but I'm like, or Beethoven, or put it in better perspective, or all these people, or you're going to be able to, all of these things that seem completely unrealistic are just going
Yeah,
to be everyday shit.
I totally off topic, but I always get like blown away of like how much we forget how natural things are and how much we can do things naturally and without things, and then also get blown away with how much we have with technology and how much information we can gather and how much we know already. You'd think we'd be in a way better place for the world and humanity with everything that we have right now, but it just seems like,
Well,
you know what I
one of
mean?
Stephen Hawking's last papers, he spoke about how Alexander the Great, one of the great things he did, I could have come up with a better word, Alexander the Great, one of the awesome things that he did was put in a library in Alexandria, and he wanted as many people as possible to be able to read, to be able to to understand, to have knowledge. Knowledge is power, all that stuff. And now we all have Alexandria times 500,000 in our hands at any point. But information is one thing, but it's not always correct information. And you would
Yeah.
think that we'd all be way smarter, but there's more flat earthers now. There's more flat earthers right now that really think the earth is flat for real than there were before we had it proved, than there were 500 years ago when people speculated, it got to be round, but who knows? Where's Galileo when you need him? But now we know the difference. Yet it's fucking crazy to me. So take that and just put it in so yeah, there's a lot of information. A lot of people are way smarter. A lot of people are way dumber. Depends how you use that information. Anyway,
Yeah.
how many macaroons have you eaten in your life?
Oh, a lot. Now with my wife, oh yeah, like they always have macaroons out. Guests always give us macaroons. I've probably, if I could sum it up, and I've only been doing macaroons for the last like 5-7 years,
Oh,
I'd
you've
have to
had a
say
lot.
about a good 300 macaroons.
Wow. Okay. It's a lot of macaroons. Now, you've got to pick. So someone comes to you right now, you get fired. You're not an actor anymore. You're not a Boilermaker. You can't be a hockey player. You can't be anything. But someone gives you an opportunity, and they say you're going to be a DJ. Here's the names, though. You got to pick. We're going to pay you handsomely. We're going to give you $13 million a year to be a DJ. So there's no choice here. You got to go do this, get your career off the ground. But here, you got to take one of these names: DJ AP, Zumba Z, The Beard, or X Factor P.
Ooh, the Zumba one sounds awesome.
Zumba
Sounds like
Z.
we're here. It sounds like we're here to dance, but I would go with the beard just because you could do so much with that one.
The beard, you could especially.
I
Okay,
like just go with like no face and just a beard, and then everybody just buys these beards and wears them in the stands, and everyone just gets banged up.
one of the first great DJs on the radio was in Los Angeles in the 60s, and it was Russ the Weird Beard Knight. Look up that after we're done. Russ the Weird Beard Knight, an obscure name now in music, but at the time was very important, and everybody knew him. Okay, here we are. Last question. In this hypothetical world, you've got to pick the best team you can to beat my team of the same sort. You got 5 players and a goalie, and they're all in their prime in this world. So you've got to pick a team to beat mine all time. Now, you can't be Gretzky, Lemieux, or Howe or any Canadians. So, like, you could pick Chris Pronger. You could pick Steve Yzerman. You could pick, so 2D, 3 forwards, and a goalie, not named Lemieux, Gretzky, Howe, or, and not having had their stardom with the Canadians. I mean, Darcy Tucker played like 40 games for the Canadians.
Yeah, I see.
So, like, there are
I'd
people
go
that,
like,
not that you'd pick Tucker, but I'm just saying,
yeah,
they can't be like
I'd
Larry Robinson
go,
that cut their teeth with the Canadians.
yeah, I would go Mike Modano.
Great pick.
Yeah.
And somehow underrated still.
Yeah, like how? He's Mr. America.
I know anybody our age would say, fuck, man. Not that you're my age, a few years younger, but, of our era would say, like, what a fast player, and, like, always put him at one. But I often say Mike Modano, and again, because I'm still, like, playing in and around senior hockey. So I
trying
just
to
talk
set
to people
up.
that are 21 and they don't know who I'm talking about. Some people.
Yeah. I'd go say Brett Hall.
Nice. I mean, are you going to get a better shot than that? So you got Modano, Hall, who combined for a Stanley Cup in '99, by the way. So they'd know each other a little bit as well.
And then I would do Datsuk up there with him.
Nice. Filthy Mitts, that's great forwards. What about your D?
My D, I would do. I'm going to go with a Brian Leach.
Oh, yeah. Here you go.
And
Talk
then,
about guys who are getting forgotten.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is what I know. And then, I want like almost maybe like Niedermeyer.
Hey, Niedermeyer comes to my head first. But maybe it's, he's a few years older than me. I mean, I combined like a peer respect for him and really look up to him. But that guy was fucking crazy good. So, I mean, you never go wrong with that. The speed and the agility and the prowess with the puck, and him, and slightly different, but him and Lidstrom, just watching both of them, I used to be like just jaw dropped. I couldn't believe how good they were.
Lidstrom's unbelievable. Like, that's what I was like. I was like, do I go with Liddy? Or I was like, well, I like Niedermeyer.
It's not a bad
Niedermeyer's
either way.
more like.
And Brian Leach is a good. People listen to this show for some reason. Lidstrom always pop in, Niedermeyer, Pronger, but like just one hair off of that, Leach was fucking. Isn't he Hall of Fame? I mean, he was deadly.
Yeah,
he came over to the Leafs at the end of it, so people are only thinking Leafs Leach, but Leafs Leach in fucking New York was one of the best D they've ever had.
And like, let's get it straight. Like, your number one job is like either shut down, and you got to make that first pass. And Brian Leach, his first pass at breakout of the zone or anywhere, he can hit guys. He's good. Like,
fantastic picks. What about your goalie?
My goalie? Oh man, I got some hidden favorites. Like, you got your Patrick Waugh, your Brodeurs, your
Waugh
John
played
Van
for the
Beesbrook.
Habs. No, he's got a cup with the Habs. No Waugh's allowed.
And then you can't. That's what I mean. You can't go with that. I'd like a Brodeur. John Van Beesbrook was a favorite of mine back in the day. Like,
you're a Rangers fan, obviously.
Yeah, and then goalie. Oh, I almost want to go like.
Hey, Beezer wouldn't be a bad pick.
I almost wanted. Yeah, I was almost going to go with a newer guy, like, because I like Jonathan Quick when on his heyday, like when he was in his prime. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's still good. He was great in his prime. The goalies you've mentioned, I don't think you can go wrong with.
Yeah, and then like I love to go back with a old school, like a Ken Dryden, but you can't do that.
Can't because he's a Hab.
Yeah, exactly. I love the wood he used to chop down. You need that.
Yeah. Well, you could go.
Yeah, you know what? I'll go with Beesbrook just because he was like when I was a kid. I loved the guy. With Florida,
hey man, his numbers in the rafters in New York. You can't go wrong with that. Okay, Alex Penner, it's been a slice. This volume 1. I'm going to do volume 2 at some point soon. Hopefully, if you'll agree to it. What else? Do you have anything to promote before we take off?
I have nothing at the moment to promote. I wish I did. I got a bunch of I'll just give a quick shout out to just because we're doing some stuff. I'll give a shout out to one of my buddies, Matty Suckalukachuk, sick name. He's doing bare knuckle boxing. He's up in Montreal training, and he's 2-0. So I'll give him a shout out just to promote him. If you're watching that bare knuckle boxing challenge, watch for him. He's doing really good. He's a scary looking dude too.
Hey, something else you should do, by the way, you should get on Cameo. I make some good money, some good opportunities, meet some good people through that site. And you, my friend, you're on Shoresy, and you look the part. You look like a killer. You play a killer. You are a killer. And people, that those kind of things resonate with people. You're a character. You're a major. It's one thing to be a major character. You're a very memorable character on a popular show. I recommend you getting on Cameo. And if you do, please, folks, look out for this guy. He's smart. He's funny. He's articulate. And he's Palmer. Thank you very much, Alex Penner, for doing this. We'll have you back real soon.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that was Alex Penner. Thanks a lot, Alex. Great catching up with my buddy. Folks, if you're downtown St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, and you want to go to George Street, I mean, why wouldn't you? You're going to check out Trinity Pub. You're going to check out Rob Roy Confusion, the Martini Bar, Greensleeves, and, of course, the Bull and Barrel. If you're going to have a bite to eat, why not check out the Loose Tie, Blue on Water, of course, Wedgwood Cafe, who also do catering. Strength and balance for the body and mind. Look no further than Power Conditioning on Rope Walk Lane. Ryan Power Conditioning, strength and balance for the body and mind. If you want to go to Mr. Lube, there's 2 locations in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. One's on Torbay Road. One's on Kenmount Road. Live, laugh, lube. Carpet Factory. I loves me carpet at the Carpet Factory. Pitbull Pain Relief, the pain sticks that just don't quit. Go to pitbullpainrelief.com. See what all the fuss is about. True Hockey. Take what's yours. And, of course, I loves me Muggsy jeans. Thanks for listening, folks. Be back in just a couple of days with more Tales with TR.